Did you listen to Jeff and Professor Hamo in the morning? Here's what you missed.
We're going to sit down with Westlands Member of Parliament Timothy Wanyonyi right now. Welcome to Hot 96.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So, Hamo.
Yes.
Let's get right into this.
Yeah.
Let's get kuna referendum.
Yeah.
Tumekubali.
12 billion shillings. Tunahitajika.
The problem with us Kenyans, Mheshimiwa, we're always in a state of politicking. Constantly.
Yes.
We're in a campaign mode like 24/7, 365. When are we ever going to rest?
Because our politics is a matter of survival. You have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
From the first election, you start campaigning for the next election. And you go on and on. No resting.
No resting.
Nothing.
And just keeping the people busy.
You keep the people busy, but if you know yourself, and if you know what you are up for, then you can plan yourself. Me, I don't politic. I go out, when I go out, like from here, I'm going to Kangemi to launch some new houses which we have built for the security. So, they are business, and then those who politic, because they are shaken completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this then. What do you think of the referendum, or a referendum? Because now it looks inevitable.
I think it's a good debate going on, because the constitution needs needs an audit. And this audit, some of them, some of the provisions that, like, for example, if anything touches on the extension of the presidential term, it must go to a referendum. If anything touches on the maybe reduction or increment of members of parliament, it must go to a referendum. And some of those issues, there are huge issues that cannot go to a referendum, but most of those things that people are looking at are things that must go to a referendum.
Yeah.
So people must come up with, the IEBC might come up with a question and frame that question and then put it out to the Kenyans. So the Kenyans must answer that question. For example, do we need to change our presidential system back to parliamentary system, or do we sustain what we have? That must go to a referendum. But a few issues like change of dates of election, some minor amendments here and there, they don't need a referendum.
Yeah. Do you agree that we are too top-heavy, that there's too many members of parliament, there's too many women reps? That house is top-heavy.
I think the problem is we have not found a formula on how to accommodate the gender balance. That is where the problem is, because when you say that we need to have at least 1/3 of members of parliament of either gender, where do we place it? Because people go out there and it's free for all. You campaign openly and you end up like almost all male house, and yet the female voters and all that. So we just need a serious civic education to educate people that they need also to elect. But some of these things we cannot force, because which constituents will you say that this one is for only women, this one for only men? Nobody will accept that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the fact that some people are out there saying, look, the referendum will be good because it will provide certain positions, Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, just to accommodate certain individuals. Is that fair?
I don't think that is the true position, because people are aligning themselves to whole succession. Because the next election, there will be no sitting president. So there are people who are positioning themselves. For example, the deputy president is heartbeat away from the presidency. And then there are others who want to come in, and they realize that the advantage that is there. If they call the election the way it is today, they might not make it. So they find another way of how do we accommodate ourselves. Maybe if I lost, I should find myself somewhere. maybe get a job or something like that.
Speaking of the deputy president, he was very opposed to the referendum talk a few weeks ago. Yesterday, he turned around and said, Allah, see, let's just do it. He had a change of heart.
I think it's a tactical retreat. It's a tactical retreat because he's a very shrewd politician, I can say. And I believe anybody who underestimates William Ruto will be doing at his own peril.
Absolutely.
Because the guy is smart. He has learned from the best. You know, he was a student of Moi, and then he was a student of Raila Odinga. Those are the two most shrewd politicians in this country. And William Ruto has come from these two leading politicians. So you cannot wish him away. He's a man who will be there, and whoever comes up will be coming up against William Ruto.
Yeah, most definitely. Yes. He's the one to beat.
At the moment, because he is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Others are outsiders. You know, we are coming in. You know, somebody like Raila Odinga is an enigma to our politics. And you look, and I think any politics in Kenya without Raila is not juice enough.
Speaking of juicy, today's test in Migori is a litmus test because obviously ODM is supporting one candidate, but then there's another one, Federal Party, who seems to be supported by other politicians. And do you think this one will be a major test about who's where and who's placing who where?
You know, a by-election is a very tricky affair. It all depends on the turnout. You can be popular, and if the turnout is low, you can lose. And this is the litmus test for the mainstream politicians, because if the turnout fails, these underdogs might come up and win this election. But if the turnout is high, then you find the most populous candidates might emerge the winner, like Chila Ayako, a former cabinet minister, Irena Kenneth Obado, and now he is in this one. So it's all as systems go, because we're looking at, you realize in the 80s where there was a by-election in Nairobi here, and a man called Kirima won by only 1,500 votes.
Wow.
And when Khan was asked, Kamotho came out and defended. He said, a win is a win. So if we won by 1,500, you can imagine, even an MC or a council wins by a bigger margin than that. So a by-election are pathetic.
Yeah.
Wow,
it could go either way. And Obado is there. Obado ako in down.
Obado, I think, is appearing in court today.
It is today, yes. No, it's a fate. Okay, if you have any questions for the Mweshimua from Westlands, please send them through at Koinange Jeff, at Hamo Prof. The hashtag Jeff and Hamo on hot already. John Achila is asking, Ebu ask our MP, this road hapa Westlands Oval, it's now 3 years. Kwani contractor alienda?
Tulipe ushuru.
Tujitegemee.
You see, you know the problem with us is that when we say we pay taxes, people are very, very cheated about it because they think their money is not being put to good use. Because during the time of Mwai Kibaki said, kulipa uhuru na kujitegemea. Kenyans came out in droves and paid taxes. But right now, when you mention taxes, you become like you are an enemy of the people, because people are not sure about whether this money is going to be used properly. But I think President Uhuru should come out strongly and explain to Kenyans why they should pay taxes and how the government is going to utilize the money that Kenyans are paying. But the moment we leave it open-ended, people will debate and people will make a decision either way. And sometimes it is those who, the naysayers, will carry the day. Yes.
Kwanza hiyo 8%.
Uliona?
Hiyo 8%.
Huko na shida. Si nilikwambia ukiingia kwa petrol station unaingia ukiwa mhambo.
But Kenyans must grow the economy. We must learn to grow our economy.
Yes.
How do we grow our economy? We must come out and support the government of the day. You know, either way, if the government creates opportunities for people to make money, then you create wealth for people. But when there are no opportunities for people to make money, for example, almost all business is generated from the government. So you want to do business, sometimes you start from the government side. You get contracts, you get all manner of things. And that is how the way to go. But we cannot keep on borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. Yeah.
It's going to be painful. I mean, even if China's giving us money for, well,
their loans are that tricky.
Very tricky.
Yeah.
Very tricky.
Karatasi umeandikiwa na Kichina, haukuelewa imeandikwa nini. There's a friend of mine, who I met. And they are struggling as a business. Most people went into business with government.
Right.
Government ikishikilia shilingi, sisi wote tumesota. You as leaders, what are you doing to change this perception? Kukweta na mtu akona story ya nilianzisha hoteli na ikakua. You know, nilienda kwa kinyozi nikapata mtu ameweka karatasi kama 16 za kanjo huko juu.
Is a
permit after permit. Ana nafasi mahali hapa ameweka hapa juu. You know, tax regime. What can we do as Kenyans? Is it punitive? Is it to
We just need to structure and make sure that we only have taxes that make sense. You know, that's how you go to City Council, actually you pay too many things. Almost anything and everything.
Yeah.
And yet, you go to City Hall, you still find they don't have money even to pay salaries. Where do this money go to? You know, Jeff, if we went out there driving your car, written there, Jeff Koinange, Jeff Life, and all that, you will be arrested by City Hall. They say you are advertising.
Sijalipa ile permit.
The Big Four needs money. The Big Four needs political will. The Big Four needs support of all of us. And it needs the support of Parliament, because Parliament must pass the budget for the President to be able to place money where he wants to place it.
Yeah.
And because of this in fights and people also positioning themselves for the next election, they have forgotten about it. Yeah. And this, you know, is actually government driven. It is Uhuru's legacy.
Correct.
So he must drive it by all means.
And then Chebukati turns around and asks for 12 billion shillings.
Yeah.
But
walisema wako on leave, but they are being paid.
Thank you.
Yes.
The height of impunity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kalistus Murunga, he's tuned in from Doha, Qatar. He said Mheshimiwa is one of the most effective parliamentarians. He's 13 and I will still vote for him anytime I see him on the ballot.
Thank you.
Na hako Doha, Qatar.
Hiyo ndio height of impunity. Kani kile tunaongelea. Hii constituency ime stretch mpaka Doha. Na tunalilia mafuta. Roni anasema
Westlands imefika Doha.
Iko Doha, Qatar.
You know, those are some of the youths I was supported, and they've taken foreign jobs. You know, in Qatar, in Dubai, to find a painter, a plumber, it's not easy.
Correct.
So most of these young men who have done these technical skills, they find their way there, and they get some jobs and get some very good earnings. And anybody who goes there and is well prepared, I think if he works there for 5 years, he'll be good enough to come back and now establish himself.
And they also send money home, which is good.
Yes.
It's very good to see. Yeah? Very, very interesting.
Because I paid a minimum of $2,000.
Wow. Wow.
That's awesome.
So if you calculate in Kenyan terms, it's about 200,000 Kenyan.
It is indeed. Cash money.
Roni Mbani anauliza. You know, you are the most sober mind MP. Haja kuona kwa panganga kwa nini? And that ndaiongeza na swali fulani. You know, there is a friend of mine, a parliamentarian. Aliniambia ukiingia bunge ukiwa na mtu uko na mipango, uko na shida mingi. Utasumbuka sana. Sababu unaingia unapata watu wamechangamuka, wako kazi tofauti. They don't care about visions. Si mnataka shilingi, ni simupewe. So how do you stay sober and focused on your dream and keep working on your thing? Because najua hata kuna Wakenya wengi ambao they are still going through a lot of things. They want to focus on what they want to do. How do you do it?
I think it depends on your vision. What is it that you want? You know, we all go to politics for different reasons. There are people who have gone to politics because they want to protect what they have earned. There are people who go to politics, they want to influence certain things. There are people who go there because they think that's the only way to elevate themselves to something. And once Paul Muite told one of the members of parliament that he has always wanted to be a chairman of something. so it doesn't matter. He just wanted to be a representative of something, but it doesn't really matter.
Catholic chairman.
Anything but here too.
Yes, like these days, presidents. You know, you are a president of something.
Yes.
You don't have to be the president of Kenya. You're the president of some village something.
We are speaking live to Westlands Member of Parliament Tim Wanyonyi in the house. It's 7:27. If you have any questions or comments, please send them at Koinanga Jeff at HamoProf with the hashtag Jeff and Hamo on Hard. We'll take a break. Jogu Kinyanjui says, Mheshimiwa, what can be done to the Westlands Matatu stage near the so-called Kidero roundabout? Because it causes a lot of traffic.
You know that stage has been removed once and moved to where they call Safaricom stage. But you know, it just comes back. I don't know. Sometimes Kenyans are funny.
Not sometimes. They are.
As Michael Joseph said, we are peculiar.
Peculiar.
We do things our own way. And I think we just need serious interventions, especially to restructure our infrastructure in Nairobi. Our roads, as we expand our roads, we need also to expand the areas where people need to operate.
Yeah.
For example, the stages for buses, these public vehicles, they are not defined. People just put them anywhere, and they stop anywhere they want. You remember the days of Kenya Bus? We used to have specific and designated stages, and you could only stand there and wait for the bus. But these days, it's very difficult.
Kenyans. And then ile roundabout ya Kidero
will be done away with. And then it will actually kill that traffic snarl up from that area. Because that road is they're supposed to create an underpass and all that, so that the vehicles going up to Kangemi, they'll pass under, and those going in Westlands, they have to go over.
I hope it happens in our lifetime, Weshimiwa.
It will happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
The Chinese are here.
Chinese wako hapa. Ni hao ma.
Welcome to Guangzhou, Westlands.
Gongu Kiarie. Honorable Wanyonyi is a very humble man.
Tunatengeneza barabara a billion per kilometer. Sasa tukiwapatia tena bridge, simona tutaona moto, afadhali ile farada mkwanza. Wacha wakule ile farada ya futu bridge.
1 billion shillings
per kilometer. Hiyo wanatengeneza mpaka mahali pa kukulia nyama nini.
Kwa barabara.
Wanaleta mpaka wa China. Purposely wa kutuonesha how to use that road. Yeah, there are so many things zitakuja na hiyo.
The problem is we have engineers in this country.
Yes.
We don't know why we have never realized that these people can make roads. Our military can do roads. They have machinery and they have everything. But I realize that it's not just here that these Chinese are all over making roads and all manner of things. I saw these people in even the US. The Chinese are there building things.
Yeah.
What?
So it means these fellows want to take over the world.
The whole world.
Yeah.
The whole world. Honestly.
What? Eh?
Yeah.
The highest debt in America near China.
Bas.
Foreign debt.
Yes.
Yes. The US, allowed to into the market the way the dollar is, because it will kill the dollar.
Completely.
Yes.
Completely. Mheshimiwa, are you still having fun on the job?
Yes, I do. I do. I representing people is, in fact, being around people is a wonderful thing. Like I sit and listen, and sometimes what we fear that as politicians, that when you go where people are, they'll borrow money, they want money from you. Sometimes it's not, because I've sat and listened to people who just want someone to give them attention, and you listen and the guy goes away happy. And also sometimes you have to realize what people go through. People go through terrible things. If you think you have a problem, go there and listen to some parents whose child has passed very well, called to go to a high school, and cannot raise fees. Something like that. It is terrible. There's once I met a child who had been called to Nairobi school, and the mother was returning a letter to school, and she was asking the teacher to get her a day school where she can afford to pay school fees. So those are some of the things that you experience, and then you realize people have problems. Yeah, there are problems out there that need to be sorted out. But sometimes some of those problems, if you come up with some workable solutions, then you find that you can handle them. Because, like in the CDF, we decided to pay school fees, full school fees, for children who are totally, unable to even raise even school fees for a day school.
Yeah.
And day school fees is just 10,000, and they can't raise it. So we pay school fees, full school fees for them, to make sure they go to school.
What's the most difficult or most challenging thing about your job?
I think there is this level of poverty. In like Westlands, people have never realized that poor people in Westlands. So even when they look at the index of poverty, these guys who are making policies, they up it. They say this is an up market, these are high rich people. But the slums, you see, like you're saying about people getting drunk. If you get to one of the slums, you find girls as young as 12 years with babies. 12 years. And then you sit and say, what is it? What is going on? So rehabilitating those people is one of the most, and those people now don't care. They really don't care.
Yeah.
They have given up in life. They live just a day. Like today, I just live today. I don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's what goes on in most of those areas. And you really sympathize with mothers, with these young daughters, with babies, a baby with a baby. So that is one of the things. But I've managed to take some of these girls, take them to college, make them self-dependence, so that they can, somehow we have even support them to go back to school.
12 years old.
Yes, 12, with babies. Yeah? And a house smaller than this room, and the family living there. Those are some of the things that you come across, and then you wonder whether this is a human condition or something else. But it's life.
And then others are stealing billions in front of our eyes.
When you say billion, and in the slum there, when you give somebody 1,000, it's like you're giving them a lifeline.
Is that right?
Yes. That 1,000, somebody will live on it. And we talk about billions. You know, money will kill people in this country.
Destroy us all. Collins Job says Mheshimiwa is very articulate. He sounds so cool. Mheshimiwa Tim Wanyonyi, Westlands MP, thank you for giving us hope in that parliament of yours. You've given us hope in the National Assembly that all is not lost.
Yeah. We still have, there's a movie called A Few Good Men.
Yes, I love that movie. Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Lovely movie. A
Few
Few Good
Men.
Men.
Yes.
Tim Wanyonyi is one of them. And this is what we call Katiba Clyde. This is what we call what? Show me what we call this.
I think Mzungu.
Yeah, I don't know.
Candid interview. Catch Jeff Koinange and Professor Hamo every day, Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on Hot 96.